Wow, 3 quite amazing stories. I think you'll all agree. We are taking questions on Slido and also with the microphone around the conference hall. Who would like to get us started in the conference hall? Is that a question? Lindsay, do I see you? Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay. If you'd like to stand up and tell us who you are and keep your questions quite brief, that would be gratefully appreciated. Thank you.
Hi, Lindsay Robertson from Long Island Retreats on South Uist. We're probably in a similar position to Richard and Anna in terms of juggling a million things with just the two of us. And I suppose my question would be, in terms of building that team, when do you know it's the right point to take that first steps, and what would be your advice in doing so?
Thank you. When was the right time to take the next step? Well, we deliberated over years, actually. But it got to breaking point in terms of things weren't sustainable. I'd made a mistake with VAT return. We've got to make sure that we are belt and braces when you've got horse riders on your farm, and there's making sure there's no accidents. You need to make sure that your facilities are safe. So we were just spreading ourselves very thinly. So it just got to the point where to do 3 VAT returns, all the invoices, all the booking, you just need help. And I think we wanted to make sure that we got the right person. We didn't have time for failure, so we appointed a business coach.
Thank you very much. We have a question on Slido for yourself, Sarah. Do you feel it's better to team build with an external coach?
I have an external coach. Well, the business has external coaches, and we've got a coach. We're fortunate that we've got a coach in our midst, a qualified and certified business coach in Alan. But I think we're at the size and scale, and because of the nature of our, we're married and running this business, then I think it's absolutely vital that we have a mix of, we have the outside as well, perspective, giving us that kind of balance.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions in the room? We do have some on Slido as well. So, this is a question to each member of the panel. What do you all do to manage your own well-being? Beata, maybe we should start with yourself.
Not great.
Don't think any of us are.
Well, we are here to share the honest opinions, isn't it? And it's tough. It is tough. I think that we had, as I mentioned earlier, with the staff members finding the full time, I had to take that job as well. So we had weeks where I worked for 3 weeks in a row without days off for 50 hours. And then you take time. I try to delegate now more. At the moment, I'm actually on, as few members here, on rural leadership course as well. And it was a little bit eye-opening with the different techniques and everything. And I'm trying to step back a little bit. So, bite stuff. I think we all know that.
Anybody else? Thank you very much, Beata. Anybody else in the room? They're coming in thick and fast on Slido.
Can I just say
yes.
on that question you ask, I think it's a really good question. And I think it's a really tricky challenge when you've got your own business that you're incredibly passionate about. I mean, you've heard the emotion that's been we've been speaking with today. That's real. And we're perfectionists. We're all entering these competitions. We all want to win everything. We're in it to win it. But it's really important. It's really vital. And as I've got older over the years, I've realized that sometimes you've actually got to compromise. And that's the kind of key. That, you've got to, if you're going to get a bit of balance and protect yourself, you've probably got to accept that it's not going to be quite as perfect as when you're there all the time. But if you're there all the time, you might break. And if you break, it all breaks.
I think compromise is the key across all of the
and doing
areas,
things that
it?
are completely out with, so different. So running up a hill or walking up a hill or Last weekend I was in Paris, and you know, I took part in High Rocks Paris circuit fitness racing. I didn't do very well, but I never once opened my laptop for 48 hours. How great is that?
Well done. Anybody else in the room? I can't see quite at the back, so do make it known if you have a question. We have microphones going around. Okay, another one on Slido. If you were doing it all again, what would you do differently? Should we start with Anna and Richard?
Good question.
No regrets. No. I think bad managers, good managers, experiences shape you, and you just learn from it.
It's a learning curve, isn't it? Yeah. Make mistakes, crack on.
Thank you very much. That concludes our session today. Thank you very much to our panel. I'll show you, like me, it's been a fantastic story to hear from each of you with your different perspectives.